my real life auntie ways show up because I don't be knowing how to work the electronics. Use it all the time. So that's what just happened. But thank y'all for y'all patience. I know we're getting started a little bit late tonight. But I really, really, really do appreciate the consistency of this group to come together to just engage and hear and talk about the things that we do discuss, whether we in our group or we come on Bible study and we have these real life conversations that really help us to understand the journey that we on with Christ. Like this is a ladies' night Bible study. Anybody can listen to it, but it's geared and catered to women who are living in their everyday um, Monday through Sunday routine, Sunday through Monday routine, however you want to label the days of the week, but each and every day, walking with God in a way that looks practical and I can see where the pieces fit. I know what this looks like in real life. This makes sense to me. And God is helping us to strengthen our journey with him really through our conversations that we having with each other. I'd be so blessed when I leave ladies night, after I hear somebody share something, or I get a praise report from something that I hear, or people join in even in the chat with the stuff that y'all be saying, how y'all encourage the lesson each and every week. Y'all pour into not just each other, but y'all really be pouring into me. I know I be talking, 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 but I do go back and I do read the lesson for myself. I do try to get the self work in as often as I can because I journal my self work. I do sit with the lesson. Even though I live the lesson, I still go back and I take the lesson in as a participant. So when I go back and read y'all's comments, or I think back over things that y'all say and y'all share, like, oh, it really blessed me in my journey because it's helping me to understand just being able to how, in what way I do need to continue to approach my journey with Christ, because my walk with Jesus is built on 100% authenticity. Like I was not able to um, have the relationship with God that I have now until came to God and like, okay, God, I'm not trying to be nobody. I'm just coming as me because this ain't the first time I tried to walk with Christ. I tried this before. This ain't like I always loved God. Like I always been like I always had. I always believed in who Jesus was. I always believed in the message that He came to show us. I always believed that He was the Messiah. I believed in He was the Christ that was sent to. He break all the miracles that they said that He had done. I was always sold out for who Jesus was, based on the manner of how God was given to me. I always believed, but I always had like a hesitation in my relationship with God, or even claiming my relationship with God because of who I was. So I felt as if that in order for me and God to be aligned and have this sort of relationship like the one that we got now, according to the version of God that I was given and the version of God that I understood, I felt like I had to be of a certain way in order for God to accept me and say, okay, you can walk with me. So I spent when I tried to have this relationship with God before, I kind of felt like, and I remember a distinct amount of time where I did try to live saved. And in my mind, I was trying to hold up a standard of something that was being told to me. And I felt like an imposter in my relationship with God. Like I felt like God loved me because I was trying to do the things they said that I had to do in order for me to be classified as saved or a saint of God. And that really fell short for me because that's not who I was. And like it wasn't the classification of you have to live this certain way and be this certain way in order to live with God. I'm gonna be honest, y'all, it felt like it was almost a direct um opposite of how God made me. Like I 100% that believe that God uses our experiences and our upbringing, like the way He intentionally makes us. I think that He uses that, and He lets us go through certain things and be in certain spaces in order for us to be in the space that He needs to use us in. So trying to uphold a certain demeanor according to what people was telling me I needed to uphold in order to be cool with God. I found myself trying to be somebody that God didn't tell me that I ever had to be. Just my understanding of who God was from how I was told was making me feel like I had to be that in order for me to be able to live and have a relationship with God. But I am so relieved that in one of the very first things that um happened to me when I decided to give my life to God. God helped me to release a stronghold that I had. I had a I was struggling with a sin that nobody knew about. It was a sin. It was something like really a sin within my heart. There was, and I knew it was something that convicted me very heavy. But when I gave my life to God, I told God honestly, I said, I'm just coming, and I know I'm still doing this, and I still have this in me, and I don't want it. But I trust that if you just let me come anyway, and you let me be cool with you anyway, God, I promise, like I'm really trying to give this up. And I remember when God offered me an opportunity to step out on faith and say, hey, um, just stop doing this and let me take care of you, because it was some things that made me feel like, okay, if I'm not doing this, I'm gonna have some insecurities about how things are going to be met and taken care of. Like, so I'm like, man, I really gotta trust God, because I know that this is not the right way to go about this. And I know I can't continue to keep doing this. And so when God accepted me for me, I wasn't I wasn't changed, I wasn't cleaned up. I was raggedy and I was still struggling. I had given my life to Christ and I was still struggling with that sin, but I kept telling God that I want to be able to release the control that this has on me so that you can take it. And I remember cold turkey one day, God had spoke to me about this particular thing, and I said no more today. And from that day until right now, I never even thought, like, I can think about it right now and think I can't believe I was even in that place, or this was something I was living and dealing with every day. I haven't even thought about it again. Like, I gotta go back to this. I gotta get this. Like, when I say completely delivered me from it, God completely delivered me from it. Don't even think about it. Don't even have to talk about it. And that grew my faith really big in my initial walk with Christ. So that made me realize that, like, I can bring anything to God. Anything that's even that I feel like something that's a part of me that I can't let go. Like, God want me for me, and I'm willing to let God clean me up and convict me and show me what's for me and what's not for me and help change me. But in order for me to get to the place where God can use me to grow me, to mature me, I gotta be real. I gotta be a real one. Like, I was a real one before I came to Christ. Like, one thing I pride myself on is, like, I genuinely love people. I genuinely have love in my heart for people. I genuinely want to look out for people. I'll never do anything for people for no clout or no intent. Like, I take care of somebody because I want to take care about somebody. I do something nice 'cause I want to do something nice. Like, I always just been like a real big hearted person. And the more I grow in Christ, the more God is showing me how that is something He created in me intentionally for me to use that for His glory and His purpose. Like, and it got even bigger as I started walking with Christ. Like, even in doing this, like doing these Bible studies and like doing the things that God has commissioned me to do, I realized that God put things in me specifically for me to carry out what His work is for me. And I would not have been able to get to the point to where I'm able to even be used that way. Not because I was stopped by sin, but because I was stopped by allowing God to come and clean me up. It's so much stuff that we are going to encounter in our life. Um, that we think that we should hide it away from God. Like, some of the things that I did in sin, some of the ways that I have, not even necessarily in sin, some of the ways that I have about me, I realized, like, man, God, like, this can't be right, but it's the way God make me. Like there are some relationships I have with people that I met them doing crazy stuff, but right now in my life we connected in the way that God said you wouldn't have been in that room if this wasn't your experience for y'all to connect, and now y'all here. Like you never know how God is gonna reposition your experiences and reposition your stuff, but like you just have to come to God honestly. Everything I done been through, everything I done did, everything I am right now, who I am right now. I want God to correct any bad behavior or bad mannerisms in me, because what I'm learning about God right now is that not only will He do it for me, but He doing it for me because the more He corrects and changes me, I just become a better version of myself, and I allow myself to be a better version in my roles that I have that God placed me in. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. We talking about it tonight. I'm a real one because you don't have to become somebody else for God to use you. He wants the real you, growing, healing, showing up in everyday life. God didn't need me to put on to pretend to be somebody so that I can start showing up for Him. He just needed me to start showing up because that's the only version of us that God wants to be able to use is the one that He created. I'm not saying that's the only one He will use, but God wants to use the version of us that He created because He created us with an intended purpose. You didn't you didn't just happen to end up in the family that you end up in because that's how it went. God was intentional about everything, even down to our experiences, our struggles, our hardships. I can see now that I'm in a place of maturity. Even some of the things that I went through before where I struggled to get through them because I was, you know, I ain't gonna, I hate to say it, I was in sin. I wasn't checking for God and I was going through things and I was struggling through things. I can see now in my maturity in my journey with Jesus how God even walked me through those things because I needed that experience for an experience or a season that I'm going through in my life right now. Even the thing where God, even the time where I wasn't checking for God and I was going through things, God still repurpose and reuse those times in my life to teach me in the season now the stuff that I gotta the test that He sent to me of stuff I gotta work at or work myself out of. Like God is so intentional with how He created us, and He did that because He has a purpose for the things that He put in us, and we just got to be able to not be clouded by the things that we put in us, the things that we holding back. Our scripture tonight comes from Psalms 51 and 6, and it says, "But you desire honesty from the womb, teaching me wisdom even there." Because God is really not asking us for protection at all. I'm for perfection at all. He asking us for honesty. That's where our wisdom starts when we're honest. And that's where our growth starts when we honest. Honest about who we are. Honest about who we ain't. I told God when I gave my life to Him, Lord, I'm giving it to you. I still got this through and I want to let it go. I was honest about where I was in my life, but I knew for a fact that in my heart, I wanted God to be the one who could change me. Like I wanted not to have that stuff. I wanted not to be, struggling with the things that I was struggling with. And I knew and trust and believe that, okay, I, I can get to know God in this way. Like I can God will accept me if I just tell Him and keep it real. If I don't try to pretend and act like I'm something. Okay, God will accept me. And He did. And He showed me, guys. Being used by God starts with you being real. So let's get it straight. Being a real one, when we say that in the world, that means being authentic. That means being loyal. That means being true to who you are. But when you are real one with God, that actually means that we're being honest with Him and open with Him and willing to grow with Him. Being honest with Him about who we are, where we stand, how we feeling, what struggles we're having. We were not created to perform for God. We were created to be used by God, and not and the only version of you that God can use is the real version that you give Him. God can't use the filter that you put on. God can use how you filter out your bad stuff so that like you showing the REEL and not the REAL. God only can use the real version of us, not the church version, not the perfect version, and not the version that says, okay, I'll wait till I get it all together and then I'm coming. No, God know you ain't gotten it all together. You trying to wait to get it all together or to put on and try to pretend that you something that you're not. That's only delaying your closeness with God, because God can't really do what he need to do for the real you, because you not even being real about who the real you are. Who the real you is, who the real you are. Sound crazy. The you that's still growing, the you that's still honest, the you that's honest, the you that says, God, this is where I'm at, help me. That's the you that God want to take care, that God want to use. That's the version that God wants to grow, because we were made on purpose for a purpose. God didn't just create us to be. He didn't say, "Okay, come on, let's walk, let's be cool so I can get you to heaven." God really has things on the in the world that he want and purpose for us to do. He had a purpose in mind for each and every one of us when he created us. Ephesians 2 and 10 tells us that for we are God's masterpiece, he has created us anew in Christ Jesus. So we can do the good things that he planned for us long ago. We created for us to be able to do what God put us here to do. We're not going to be able to get to that purpose and that reason if we're not bringing our true and honest self to God. Our personality wasn't just a random pick. The things that God put inside of us isn't just random things. I say think this has actually helped me kind of like really learn to find my footing in my journey with Christ, when I realized God made me whimsical and like loud and animated for a reason. Like I don't know why he is. I know, okay, I do know why. Let me take that back. I do know why he made me that way. I did not realize before what all I would be doing with it, because it was a time in my life where I thought that I wasn't going to have natural kids. So there wasn't a kid in the house that I was raising, but I had already been contributing to my stepkids' lives long before I had even had a son. I helped raise my nieces and nephews. Like God had gave me all this practice with being able to pour into children. But for a long time, I thought because of medical reasons that I wasn't going to be able to have a kid of my own, and I didn't realize that all this animation, and this childlike heart, this whimsical nature God put inside of me. Like I used to hide it away a lot, but I didn't realize that God needed that very thing for me to work in the purpose that He put here for me to do, and that's be a mom. And being a mother in my purpose, I don't think God just called that for just me and my kids, because he had me showing it a lot. He had me broadcasting a lot, like it just pieces of my parenting that I pour him into, so I can show other parents, other mothers, what it looked like when we're pouring God into our kids. Like God designs the way we even are as people specifically for what it is he need us to do, what good works he need us to do here in this world. Like our story don't be random, even our struggles. But think about some of the things that God allowed me to go through, that taught me and that grew me through things that I wouldn't been able to meet if I was at a different season in my life. Like some of the struggles that I went through, some of the things that I had to do to fight to get into this place that I was with God. Like not everybody go through the same thing. Everybody journey don't look the same. And if everybody journey don't look the same, that's how I know everybody's convictions don't feel the same. The way that God convicts me on things, that's based on my experience for the God that I know. And you live at the revelation of God, of how you know God. Like the God you see is the God that you get. And whatever revelation you know and see God, that's how you get to experience God. It's your choice how you decide to move with that. And I got to a place in my life where what I knew about God, I wanted more, because I felt like I could have and be more in Him because of what he was revealing to me, like how he was showing up for me. It's not a day in my life that God ain't kept me. And I can see now in this life that even growing up in a household where I had a mama that prayed. When I say my mama prayed, my mama prayed. Why my mama would be the type of person. Nope, she would be. My mama was the type of person who would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go. Cause we that was a family church, so she had a key and go and have prayer service at 6 o'clock in the morning. Just her and God, just her going to meet God in that space with her heart open and just praying and covering people. I got by the prayers of my praying parents, because there were seasons in my life where I got through things where I realized that it was only by God's grace and God's mercy. And I wasn't praying for this. But I can't, but my mama was a praying woman. I'm gonna tell you that. God didn't have to place me in the family that was my upbringing with my mama. I could have had a whole different, I could have had a mama who wasn't even thinking about the Lord. I could have had to I could have had to fight to try to find God's goodness, because I came up in a household that was not safe and harmful to me. That wasn't my story. God placed me in a space where my experiences were going to land me exactly on the path that He purposed for me to be on. That don't necessarily mean I had to grow up and be my mama, but I'm gonna tell you right now, like mother, like daughter, because she got a praying daughter. When I say I be praying for y'all, me and God be having full length conversations when God plays something on my heart, and that's why I also feel like I was like that as a friend too. Like I'm like that when my friends come to me when they going through things. I really wear and care about the things that they going through. When I catch up with my friends, that's important to me, because I want to listen to what you're going through, and I want to be able to sit and have a sisterly conversation with you. If I have to encourage you, I have to cheer you up. If I got to talk to you, and likewise for me, if I'm coming and catching up, I want my friend to be able to listen to me, listen to what I'm saying, not just in one ear and out the other. I don't just get together and gossip with my friends. No, how your kids been doing? What's been going on with the kids? I and now that I'm saved, when you tell me what's going on, I know how to go to God and I know what to say. And I that's something I realized I really inherited by seeing. I saw my mama praying for her people. I pray for my people too. I don't say I don't. I'm not the type of person to say, "Oh, I'm praying for you." No, baby. I talk to God about that thing, because now the real me absolutely know what prayer can do. God has shown Himself mighty in my life and faithful in my life, and He did that and accepted the real me doing that. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna keep showing up as the real me, because now I can recognize more and more how this is God. This is who God always designed for me to be. Because authenticity really is the key. God needs to know the real us, not the version of us that come all put together, the church version, the version that look good in front of everybody. God needs to know the REAL, not REAL, not the REEL. Because a lot of us was taught that in order for us to be close to God, we had to talk a certain way. We had to be in certain places. We couldn't go to certain places. We couldn't wear certain things. We had to hide certain struggles. We had to be dressed a certain way. We had to be appear a certain way. We had to be set aside a certain way. And I'm not knocking or shaming what nobody was taught. But what I'm saying is the God you see is the God you get. And if the version of God that you receive tells you that in order for you to be reclaimed to God, this is the standard that you have to meet, and that don't convict or sit wrong with you, cool. But for somebody like me, who tried to do it that way and felt like I was an imposter, I really didn't understand God knowing me and creating me the way He did. I'm a walking musical. I don't understand why, in some ways, like the standard of rules had to be. This is what I had to do to be close to God. I still like I'm a person who love all type of music. Like one of my experiences growing up, because I grew up in a Christian. I say Christian. I grew up in a Kojic household, and my parents. What I loved about them is they were a great mix of things. My one was more strict, and one was more. I ain't gonna say easy going, because neither one of them was easy going, but you had the opportunity to talk more about life with another one. The one thing that I loved is that, like, the head of our family was God and family. Like that's how my parents moved. And so in growing up, I had certain things in the household that we could do and certain things that they didn't bother us doing. So we just couldn't walk around listening to 92.7. Like we couldn't, even though I liked all kind of music, my parents when they got back in their car, it was back on 1420. I only listened to 92 when I was driving or when I was in the car with some other 92.7 listeners. We turned it back to 1420 before we got at my mama's house. We did not play the music out loud. Like my parents didn't come around checking to see what I was in our CD players, but we wasn't allowed to just be out playing certain things. But the one thing that my parents did allow for us to do, because we was a family and we did a lot of things together, and I said good God and family, we used to watch a lot of movies together. Like we is a movie watching family. I'm talking about back in the day, we was in the movie clubs where they had it, you ordered it, you get 10 movies for a penny, where you used to have to write it and fill it out. I mean, my parents used to, we used to have movies galore. We had a band with a VCR in there. We used to ride watching movies. Like that's, even to this day my family still love movies. But I am such a whimsical person that I couldn't play all the music, but the one thing that I used to do a lot was watch musicals because I am a walking talking musical. Like some of my favorite movies is musicals. I listen Hairspray, Grease. You're never gonna catch one that I don't like. Everybody when they turn them into live shows, I'm telling y'all, they messaging me telling me what's on NBC as a live show because I'm always watching musicals. I love theater. I love music, and that's just my natural personality. So like, I my music taste is real eclectic. So one of the things that I struggle bad with is like when I felt like that when I got saved, I could only listen to gospel music because I didn't know no different. Like that was the standard that was set for me. And also, to the judgmental, like if somebody hearing me listening to something under the gospel music, I don't want nobody to judge me and say you ain't saved because I really love Jesus. But this is what I understood it to be. So like it wasn't, I'm like, okay, it's either God or in sync. It's just Lord, I'm just trying to understand like you God knew that I was just like my open-hearted, artsy, just free-spirited person. Like I never, I wasn't no into like, okay, this is evil. This I'm not. I just listen. I love a good bop. I love to get the shoulders going. I love good energy. And one thing I know about energy is that it's infectious. Because one of my gifts, I believe, is to be able to shift the energies in rooms. If I'm in a good mood, I feel like I can get people in a good mood. And I feel like that my view of God kept me from being able to thinking that God wouldn't accept me if I came in with my instinct bop and I had to come with a Mary bop instead. I'm like, well, both bops kind of feel the same, but like, and it's still, it's still the same, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference, So, but I was so happy that I was able to see a view of God that didn't limit me to being accepted only if I was living according to what the nowhere in the Bible told me that I only had to listen to Rand Salling. I like Rand Salling too, because I play something about the name Jesus right now. It's on my playlist, but I'm not saying that's not all of who I am. And I also believe that God allows our experiences and things that we go through that we connect with to be able to put us in places where we can connect with people in those other things. Because I went to college on a theater scholarship. That a lot came not necessarily from me acting. It became from my love of shows and music. Like I played music from fourth grade um till I was like 25. I had an instrument in my hand. Like my heart just and but that put me in rooms that I wouldn't have otherwise been in if I didn't have those love or those passions. Like being at that school on a theater scholarship, being in the green room with people I'm still able to talk to today and witness to today. People who come back and say, Deb, I saw your Godmom videos. Like you don't know where God needs to be able to use you. And the real you is the one that got to show up in the room. Like if I pretended to be somebody who didn't like the things I like, who didn't wasn't interested in the things that God don't convict me on these things. I pay attention now to my own conviction because I'm tuned in to what God is telling me is good for you and not good for you according to his word. And I do know that God needs me to be exactly where it is he need me to be. I don't know where that is, but there's some places and some rooms I wouldn't have walked in if I wasn't 100% myself. I wouldn't have been there if didn't have that experience. So we try to for my early try at this, I tried to hide away things and say, okay, I gotta stop being this, I gotta stop being this, and I gotta stop being that. When I sit back and realize it, it was never the voice of God that was telling me that I had to not. It was the voice and the standards of people. And I'm not saying nothing negative about people. I'm just saying I was worried, and a lot of times people will look at me and think that I was saving them. I talked about this last week, how it was almost a little bit uncomfortable when I had to show up in the room, and now I'm saved now because of what I used to do. But like I listen, I I'm gonna pray for you in Walmart, and I'll pray for you if you see me at church. If you come to church with me somewhere on Sunday, you go the same girl that's crying and snotting in worship service will do that same snotting and crying if we was driving to go get something to eat and a song came on that blessed me. I'm the same person wherever I'm at. And it feels so good because I'm in walking in authenticity with God. Like I don't gotta put on, I don't have to pretend I'm something. And I felt like that when I tried this before, I had to make sure I was dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's so somebody can tell me I was vindicated in my walk with Christ. Don't nobody gotta tell me how saved I am. Don't nobody gotta say, oh, you still walking with God, and is we like that. If you go listen, and if anybody walk up to me and say anything, 9 times out of 10, you're not getting out the conversation without me mentioning anything about even just how good God is. Like, so like I don't have no, I don't need nobody to vindicate that for me anymore. And I thank God that now it's just me being authentic about who I am, walking and who I am, living and loving my own truth. God has continued to grow me. Even the more and more I show up my real self, the better and better God do by me. The more and more he mature me, the more and more he grow me. I ain't worried about what nobody else got going on because I know that God still got to work stuff out of me. I ain't trying to check to see how saved somebody else is. I'm trying to make sure my witness is good. So when God put me in that Coney Island and I have to see my sister, I'm like, hey girl, this what I've been doing my life. And here we are. Bible study. Like it's so important for us to just be authentic with God and be for real at who we are, and saying who we are and walking in who we are, because we can we can put the filter on but it ain't nothing we can hide from God. And keep and us trying to hide that stuff away from God, it don't stop God from reaching to us, but it stop us from being able to let him in, because he not gonna come into some spaces where he uninvited. If you keeping the facade and the filter over all this, I see that ain't really you, but I'm not gonna walk in no territory where you didn't offer me to be in. Your life experiences position you for purpose, position you on purpose. It is our life experiences that place us in the places where God really need us to be. Like think about it. Your family, your upbringing, your struggles, your relationships, your past mistakes, all of this stuff placed us in the rooms that we're supposed to be in, and the conversations that only we can show up in the way that we need to show up. There are certain spaces I know that if I didn't come here as me, I wouldn't have been able to be here. Like there's certain spaces that God does not call everybody to be a preacher when it comes to what God wants you to do with your purpose. When you say what's your purpose, God may not call you to say to preach the gospel of Christ. That's I don't believe God got people everywhere. God needs you to be the one in the courtroom as the lawyer. God needs you to be the social worker, because a case gonna come before you where where the God in you is gonna have to oversee, because it's only something that you would be able to do, because somebody else whose heart was in a different space may not showed up for the baby that they needed to show up for. God needed you to be the bank teller because God needed you to be in a space to where there was a decision that you was gonna have to make a yes or a no. I think about this on my job a lot, where I have to make these decisions where I have to decide certain things. And some of it come down to not just yes or no, but it's like, okay, We can get by if I do this little extra thing. And the God in me always think about, if I can do this extra thing, how much will it take away from me and how much will it help this person? And that pushes me in this role, because the role that I'm in, I need to have that little extra push, because 3 years ago on this job, I was not that person, and I could not have sat. I ain't gonna say I could not have sat in the seat, but the seat is a better fit for me now because of where I am in my heart with God. Like, God placed me where He placed us where He need us to be. Like, in the spaces that we need to be in. He don't call everybody to be preachers. I grew up in a household of people who carried the gospel of Christ, and my mom and dad did it the way that they needed to do it. There are spaces that I've been in and I've gone in that my mama and daddy never went in, and they never probably would go in. I was in that space because that's a part of who I am. And I made relationships and connections that I still have right down today. God called me us to different spaces. I'm down in, like I told you, I was in college on a theater scholarship in the space, and my mom and daddy wasn't doing stuff like that. They wasn't doing shows. And I was going places, doing things, being play. And I'm just saying this as an example of my own life, where, like, God allows our experience to be ours and to be used where He needed to be used. That even look today, I'm looking right now, I'm still ended up walking in the same line of work as my parents, because my mama might have got called to be a missionary in the manner that she did, but God called me to get a message another way. But I still got called to give the message. Like, God still uses us in the way that He needs to use us, based on our experiences, what our gifts is, what our talents is. Like, we're not in these spaces by accident. We there because God needed someone real to be there. God needed somebody real to show up in that space. And growth with God is not about perfection. It's actually about surrendering. When I first came to God and I had that issue, that I was like, okay, God, I'm definitely gonna lay down my life to you, but I want you to know, I got this one thing that I'm not ready to let go of. It had held me back away from Christ for a long time, years. To be honest, it had held me back away from Christ. And I'm like, I can't. God, I'm still dealing, doing this, and dealing with this. I can't even entertain God. Ain't finna check. I can't do that. I can't. But I was so honest with God when I gave my life to Him. I said, I'm coming, and this is coming with me. And I'm not bringing it saying I'm just going to keep doing it because I'm convicted by it. I feel in my heart that this is not the right thing for me to do. But Lord, I know that you are going to help me be able to kick this thing. And it was sin. Like, I was struggling so hard with it, guys. Like, even thinking about it now, it kind of weight me. Like, when I say weight me, I'm thinking like, man, God, you so good, because you really got me from underneath that thing, and I'm so grateful. But like, I I didn't grow and get from underneath that and get to a place right now, maturity, where I could even talk about it, um with pretending that it wasn't a thing. This got me stuck. I'm struggling with this, but I'm not gonna give up the fight. We grow when we tell God, hey, this where I'm at with this. Like, that's where we really begin to have transformation and change, when it starts with honesty, when we invite God into our real stuff, give God our real self, because honesty invites God in, surrender allows God to move, and trust keeps you walking forward, because I trust that God, you got me on this. I'm kicking it. I'm done with it today. I trust that you got me. And every day from the day I kicked it away from me, the day I threw it in my metaphorical trash, the days from that day to now, God been holding me every step of the way. And I just trust God more and more, coming real and being able to deal with this situation. Like, I ain't gonna say situation because it was something I was struggling with myself. Uh, Being able to just step out on faith and ask God to take that thing from me, the every day that God sustained me, that just built my trust in other areas. Like that was a big thing for me. I know I can trust you because you showing up for me for real, for real. Like even when I was just thinking about it a minute ago, I'm like, man, God, you really delivered me. And like I don't gotta be shameful about it. Like I'm so grateful. I'm not even like, oh, I was in such a bad place. I'm thinking like, man, God, you brought me up out that thing. And it was nasty work on my behalf. I put myself there. And I'm thankful that you delivered me. And now I'm in a space to where like I just trust you so much. Like anything you tell me, I'm gonna do it. Like if you're telling me this ain't for me right now, I'm a know that you mean it for my good. Like my honesty with God about that thing just made my trust in Him grow like leaps and bounds. Because I was honest with God about where I was at. Like, and the more and more I trusted God and just kept walking forward, the more and more like our relationship, it just grew. Like one real step with God will change everything. That's not a joke. One real step and say, I'm stepping out, I'm doing it. That really can change everything. Being a real one means letting God shape you, not letting sin define who you are. So let's talk about it because yes, we all got struggles. Yes, we all have areas where we're growing, but hear this real clear. Your sin don't define who you are. Your sin is not your identity. That's not who you are. It's something that God is working on, not who you are. A real one with God says, I'm not perfect, but I'm still growing. I'm still trying. I'm still going to show up every day. I'm still going to learn every day. When we start the journey, we don't know everything. We don't got everything. We're not perfect. We never will be. Only Jesus can. Like we're when we say, yes, God, I'm signing up for the journey, I'm in it, we're really making a conscious choice to let Jesus teach us and grow us into the person that we were created to be. You don't come here knowing all that stuff. You won't just get to class. If that was the case, why would you have to go to class? Rabbi, teach us. Jesus, like that's Jesus' disciples, they were apprentices. They were trying to be like Jesus. They were living with him, walking with him, moving with him, growing with him. Like he was teaching them as they were together. Like that's the journey I'm on. I'm trying to learn to be the best version of a human that I can be. I don't start the journey knowing all that. Like it takes time and things to come to grow you. So your sin of things that's not who you are. We growing, we changing, and honesty about where we are. That just help us to get to who God want us to be even faster. I'm not stuck. I'm just being transformed. I trust that God is going to help me to become who it is that I need to be. We start letting go of things not because people told us to let go of things, but because God is convicting our heart. God is prompting us and saying, mm-mm, you can't keep doing this, Dad. You can't keep talking to them people on the phone like that, Dad. Mm-mm, you can't keep responding to your husband like that, Dad. You wrong. You the problem. Mm-mm. Check yourself. And I gotta really do it. I gotta really face it. I gotta really be honest. Like, okay, yeah, I'm not accepting accountability here. I was the way I'm thinking about this thing is probably presenting a problem in how I'm treating somebody because now that I see him a certain way, I'm treating him a certain way. Check yourself, Deb. Because when I invited Jesus into my heart, he not just gonna come into spaces that he not invited, but I made an open invitation and I let him know. Um, God, I'm inviting you into my house and it's not clean right now, but I would really like it if you would come in here. And that's what he did. And he started to help me clean up my house, clean up my heart, change my ways. And it was his prompting telling me, like, don't be like this. Don't act like this. Don't treat people like this. Apologize to Jackson because you wrong. Apologize to Jarrell because you tripping.
Like, why you even own that? Check yourself. You need to calm down, Dad. He helped me clean up my house because I invited him. I didn't make I normally clean up every if I know people coming over, oh, let me get this house clean. No, God, come in here as it is. I'm being honest. This where I'm at right now. I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying to get it clean. I'm trying to get things all lined up, but I'm not there yet. But I thank God that he accepted my invitation. He came over. We've been kicking it ever since, y'all. And I feel that I'm starting to be a better version of myself now that he is with me. I know that. I'm just can't just say I feel that. I know that because I was honest about where I was at when I invited him in. So God will come into our hearts and He will convict us according to our own experiences, our own journey, our own where we at in our own life. Some of the things that convict my mom probably don't convict me. Some of the things that do convict me probably would convict you. Could convict like we have to walk in our own soul salvation because that journey is specific to you. God uses us in everyday life, not just in church moments. Ministry is not just a microphone. It looks like praying for your friend in the Meyer parking lot. Sometimes I see people out and about in the store, and I like to stop and speak because I'm like, oh God, I'm like, hey, I don't know, how you doing? How's such and such doing? And whatever the exchange is, the greeting to see people, um, and when God put people on my heart, He placed me to pray or to do something from somebody. So, God let somebody cross my path. If God tell me to pray right there, I'm praying right there, or I'm saying what God told me to say right there. That to me, that's what ministry looked like for me. Being where God need me to be and doing and saying what God need me to do and say, no, literally no matter where I'm at because I'm a real one. I'm showing up with God regardless. Like I'm going nowhere without him. I'm not nobody gotta say like, okay, well we at basketball practice. If it prompts me to petition God, I'm doing it. That don't necessarily I gotta do some animated and loud prayer, but I'm stopping right now and going to my Savior if my spirit prompts me to, especially if in a situation where I need to calm myself or calm somebody else. God God has changed me into somebody that I never thought that I would be. It's kind of blowing my mind when I think about it even right now because I literally have no problem doing what he called upon me to do wherever he called me to do it. I can remember y'all being so embarrassed when I was in like high school, junior high school, because I grew up real churchy. So sometimes we'll be out in the community doing things. And I'm like, oh, they got us out here at the mall doing like witnessing and passing out pamphlets. Like we got our church clothes on. I'm like, man, I hope don't none of my friends be out here. Like damn, I saw you at the mall with the church. We was y'all passing out. Like man, yeah, because I didn't associate myself with somebody who felt comfortable doing that. Like I think about it now, I'm like psh, man, if so anybody talk to me about the Lord, it's up. But I think I remember my life being so embarrassed and even for a long time hiding my spiritual life away from certain friend groups, not letting people like people and I always end up showing up as a girl who like was kind of like godly in some way because just you it's just listen, church is just in me. I can't I can't take that back. But I'm so grateful that God let me to see in this stage of my life and where it comes to like ministry that like how he used me and the way he used me it just because I'm not doing it in a church, I'm not, leading somebody's youth class or something like that. Like I'm still doing the ministry that he need for me to do. I'm still showing up and doing what it is that he called up on me to do. I think my life experiences and the things that I've been through and the things that I'm gifted with allows me to be real successful even in doing it this way as opposed to the way I had tried to do it before when I felt like an imposter. Because I did live a life for quite some time where I thought that I was saved according to the standards that I felt I had to meet according to what I was told and shown. I feel like I did that for quite some time, and I did it, and it wasn't a struggle not to sin. It was a struggle to feel like that's who I was. Cause it wasn't like the, oh, I want to sing, oh, I want to do this, but I started to. I'm like, man, I I don't feel like the stuff that people are saying is sin is sin, and the Bible don't tell me that. And I wasn't being, and I didn't in no way was like I'm gonna be disrespectful and question. I'm just gonna that's how I quit God earlier in my life. I'm like, you know what? I'm just I'm just gonna be me and love God. I ain't hurt nobody, but I know I can't meet them standards. I'ma try, and God, like, just don't let me lead this world like that, because the revelation that I had with God is that in order for me to have a relationship with Him, that's where we had to be. This is how I had to be. So I thank God that He's showing me now how He a part of my everyday. He came over to the crib and He ain't left yet, y'all. I'm so glad he stayed with me. And listen, kick it with me, Jesus. I'm so glad I invited him into my house and in my everyday moments, like being at my parenting moments, my moments when I'm just being when I'm on my job, when I'm just a coworker, when I'm interacting with my coworkers, when I'm doing things for my clients that I'm helping and servicing. Like I thank God that He's showing me that he can use me in all these spaces because I'm showing up as who I really am. We don't know where God needs to call on us to be a help. And that's why being real matters, because in those everyday moments, God needs the real you and he needs you to be ready. Real life areas where God wants us to walk in our authenticity at work, not snapping back when you irritated, letting God check your attitude and being kind even when the people ain't kind to you. God uses our growth here to show his character, because it was a time at my job, like I said, where I wouldn't have been this person. And now I am this person, and I'm not trying. That's just who I've grown into because of God. And somebody was telling me over the weekend, like they like, Deb, I can really see that you are different you. And I'm that meant so much to me, because I'm like, that that's all God, guys. I'm doing what he told me to do, and it's automatically transforming me. So like on my job, that's been a big, it's been a big change with even my character and how I represent myself at work. In friendships, we have to walk in authenticity, being the one who prays instead of the one who just listen, speaking truth in love. I know sometimes we have relationships with our homegirl, and maybe what we, especially our close relationships with our girlfriends. My friends have no problem telling me the truth, zero problems. They would tell me. And one thing I love about my friends is that they do it in a way that's loving. Like they'll tell me like, yeah, man, you doing too much and this don't look good on you. And I appreciate that, because sometimes we get those close relationships with people who are they even if we the problem and we doing something wrong, or we keep making bad choices, or like we doing something that's not good for us, some people like to tell us and hurt us when they tell us like, well, I mean, you stupid for doing that, but like, no, come on, like that's don't approach it like that. It's a way to do things in love, where we have to tell people, especially in friendship, speaking in love, speaking in a way that like you're gonna hear that I'm concerned, and but you also gonna hear that I love you as well. And also not performing and just being real in friendships. God uses our authenticity to bring healing. We're also going to need to walk in authenticity in motherhood, in our parenting, asking God for help in real time, apologizing when you are wrong, and showing your kids what growth looks like. God uses our realness to raise the next generation. I 100% believe that I am doing God's work as a mother, because I may not get a whole lot of adults to tap in to what I'm saying, which I'm just saying what God tell me to say. But I pour a lot into my son, and my son live in that truth. We don't just make a video and we don't think about this. We real life have these lessons like in our parenting, and I can see him having encounters with other kids where he's taking what he's learning to other spaces. And I can also see how things are rubbing off on things on kids that are around him, and not just him, have an effect on adults that are around him too. So I believe that even the way we minister in our parenting, what foundation we create for our kids' childhood, what we leave it, because that childhood is a foundation from which they put things. I want him to put things from a God space. So I gotta keep it real now. I don't listen. That don't mean I know everything as a parent. This is on the job training too. But thank you, Jesus, for coming into the crib now. Because now, when I'm finna crash out about something that he do it, Lord help me. Because and this is a real life conversation, y'all, and a real life prayer. I was praying the other day and told God, like, God, I don't know who Jack think he playing with, but he only know me as mom, and you know Deborah. And she is not to be played with. So, Lord, before I go in here and respond to him in the way Deborah finna, go ahead and give me what to say and how to say because I don't want to go in emotion. I had to really pray myself off the ledge because, baby, he was playing with me that day, and I still want to be able to let and understand. I'm big on trying to help my son with emotional intelligence now because I think that that's not something. I think I had to learn that. I don't think it was something that I was like really taught. So letting him know why I feel a certain way, or helping him understand why things are done a certain, or why he feel a certain way. We talk about all that, but sometimes it'd be hard to talk through that stuff when you don't when my buttons done been pushed because I ain't gonna say well, I'm a recovering crash out. I struggle with that. That's part of my thing that God is working on me on. So Lord, you know where I am. But you do know that I want to be the best mom that I can. So before I go out here, go before me, God. Give me what to say and what to do right now. Cause I'm about to lose it. So like God, I keep it real with God, even where it is with my parenting. Like because some days you don't got the gentle in you. I try to be gentle as much as I can, but some days you could just square up with me because I mean, what I had enough. But God helps me and He guides me and He keeps me because when I'm feeling like that and when I'm feeling pushed and overwhelmed, I tell God the honest truth. I pray my David prayers and I tell God, hey, this where I am right now with this as a mom. And that realness helps me because God shows up for me in the way that and because I'm honest and I identify exactly where the problem is. I can't I gotta tell God exactly where it hurt. Go right now, God, and bless Clay because she rubbed me the wrong way when she said that. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I need you to do. I need you to go and I need you to put your hands around Crystal because today she might be having a hard day because she tried me and I don't know why and I'm having a hard time and a problem with the way I was spoken to. As God will give me to go and handle and move in the direction that He need me to move in. Like I don't like to hold on to a lot of things. I don't like to have contention with people no more. Keep things going because I got other stuff to do. I don't want to be walking around mad because Jack's tried to try me. Lord help me, let this go and let me be able to say what I gotta say to my son right now so that I can teach him in this moment and then nobody crash out and we can all get better from it. But honesty get me there. Not trying to pretend well like, okay, well I'm the best I'm the best mom. I should be able to know. No, I'm not. This is parenting is on the job training. I don't know. God is guiding me. So like I gotta keep it real about where I'm at with it. Just because people see us in videos doing things, don't mean we don't got we get into it still in real life. We have to say we a real practical family. We ain't trying to pretend we some. At a time in my life, I would try to pretend that I was something I'm nothing. Oh, everything is all good. Oh, sugar coated. Jackson's just a real great kid. No, sometimes he tried me. He ain't no perfect son. I ain't no perfect mother. Just because I knew what to say and God gave me what to say here, don't mean I got all the words. Even when I get on here some week, I'm like, Lord, go before me because I didn't really have much to say or nothing really on this topic this week. God, go before me. He do it. He do his big one for me every time. Like he is walking with God is so much more than just making sure you living right so you can make it into heaven. He is literally the thing that help us through our everyday things like parenting. We just got to keep it real with them. And on places in this day and age, this also means keeping it real in spaces like social media. Not getting online on Facebook trying to compare your life to other people's. Not posting stuff for validation so you can feel validated in some kind of way. Sharing truth, sharing encouragement, real moments. That's how we keep it real is in those spaces. God can use our platform to reach people you never even met. I don't know any of those people that follow that God Mom page on TikTok, but I do know the message is getting to who it's getting to. God's showing me keep doing what you're doing because it ain't this don't got nothing to do with me. This don't got nothing to do with me. God is using me because I'm showing up as my real self. And this is what it looked like to be used by God. Is I don't know in what way God gonna use me. I just know I'm showing up for the job because I signed up for it. You also got to keep it real in your private life too. Being honest with God about our struggles, letting Him convict us and not letting people control us. God's conviction is everything to me because if God is putting something on my heart, I'm like I'm addressing it right now because you wouldn't put this here if it wasn't for me and if it wasn't for because you know the plan, so I know you know it's for my good. Choosing growth over comfort. This is where real transformation happens when we do it in our private life, when we choose God when nobody looking. When you don't got when it's not for the audience to see, when it's private, when it's just us on that personal walk. Our Bible study tonight is the Samaritan woman, which is found in John 1, 4 and 1 through 30. This is such a great story. I love the story of the Samaritan woman at the well. The story goes as Jesus meets this woman at a well who had a really, really messy past, and she was a Samaritan woman. Jesus was a Jew, and so genuinely, at this time, Jews and Samaritans, they didn't coexist. And Jesus shouldn't have been in this context just even talking to this woman because of the type of caliber that she was. But she wasn't living right, and she wasn't living saved or sanctified by any type of religious standards at all. I'll tell you that. But instead of rejecting her at that well, Jesus spoke to her personally and he revealed truth to her and he met her right where she was. And what happens? She go back to the city where she lived and she tell everybody, come see a man who told me everything that I ever did. And it was a lot of people that ended up coming to Christ and believing in Jesus because of the testimony of this woman. She wasn't the perfect candidate. She didn't even go to the well thinking that she was going to be able to go. She was going to have this encounter to Jesus. She came and he met her right where she was. And exactly, she had the same life um, before she got to that well. She didn't put everything down that she was doing, then come to the well and met Jesus, and then she went back changed. That's not how it go. We don't come to the well perfect. We don't come to the well all put together. She just came just like she was, and Jesus accepted her right then and there, and she was forever changed at that point. And it wasn't your typical way of starting your journey with Christ, which what really spoke to me about this story because in my journey with Christ, I grew up in the church, but my journey didn't start the way that I even thought that it was gonna start. I always say like I found God. I didn't find God. I said I always knew where God was. I gave my life to God and I wasn't even in the church setting. I was in my living room. Like, and I'll never forget just my open and honest conversation. So like the fact that she came to a place where she was coming for something else, it wasn't even a place where this was where you would have this encounter because Jews wouldn't even be talking to Samaritans like that. And like this ain't even the time of day that she coming to the well. This ain't even the time of day where people normally even come get water. She picked a certain time to come by herself because she didn't want to be around the crowd. I want to kind of be isolated. And God will place you where you need to be so that you can do what it is that he needs you to do because he changed that woman's life that day and she went and her testimony changed the lives of others. God uses us in a way that he needs to use us. Jesus did not wait for her to be perfect in order for him to come into her life. He met her with real life, right there in her real life. He told her all about herself and he used her story immediately. So the very thing that we sometimes think disqualify us from being on this road with Christ, God will use that. God will use it. She went back and told them people, I met a man who told me everything that I ever did. So the whole and the stuff that she did is stuff that should have disqualified her from having this experience, but it didn't. Three ways that we can apply this lesson is start showing up real with God every day. Stop filtering your prayers. Say it exactly how you feel it. God, this is where I'm at. Help me. Let conviction lead you, not people's opinions. Ask God, what are you trying to say? What are you saying about this? Not what people expect from me. What are you telling me to do? How are you telling me to move? How you what are you saying? What are you putting in my spirit about this? And then also be available in your everyday life. Stay open to pray. Stay open to speak and stay open to show love because you never know when God is about to use you in your everyday walk. It might be at work, at the store, at the bank. You never know. Our self reflection questions this week are where am I still trying to perform instead of be real with God? And what area of my life do I struggle to invite God into? Am I listening more to people's opinions or God's voice? And where has God already placed me that I may be overlooking? And our practical life application this week says have one honest conversation with God daily, no filters, and pray for someone in real time this week. Pause before reacting and ask God what to do first. Let one area of conviction turn into action. You don't have to be fake. I'm sorry, you don't have to fake your way into purpose. God already knew everything about you. He knew the good, the messy, and the in progress parts, and he still chose you anyway. So nothing about your story caught him off guard. Nothing about your current season disqualifies you at all. You being real doesn't push God away. You being real actually draws God closer to you because you stop pretending and you start being honest and you give God something to work with. That space of honesty is where God heals us, is where God connects with us, and it's where God strengthens us, and it's where God transforms us into who we were always meant and created to be. You are not behind, you are not too much, and you are definitely not enough. You are in process, and God is intentional about every step of it. So don't shrink back, don't water yourself down, and don't wait until you feel ready to walk in what God has for you. Walk in what God has for you right now. Real, growing, and trusting Him every single day. Stand in who you are becoming and even if you feel a little unfamiliar, keep standing. Grow through the discomfort, knowing that every moment of obedience is not doing anything but shaping you. And when doubt tries to creep in, just remind yourself, God chose me like this and he is still working on me. Sis, a real one with God is not perfect, but she's available and she's willing and she's becoming powerful in ways that she never imagined. And that's all I got for us tonight. Hope that blessed who it was for. I know Crystal is out of town this week, but I wanted to know if anybody had any prayer requests before we got all the way done. Y'all could drop them in the chat if you want. You can come off mute if you want.
Pray for me as I embark on a new journey of employment. Um, was about being transparent and real.
Do you want me to mute the live play?
Yeah.
Okay, let me mute this. Gotcha.
being transparent and real. So that was the topic